Hey, what is up guys? DRC3 here, back with another My Hero Ultra Impact video, and today we're going to be talking about whether you should pass or pull on the upcoming Impact Fest for the JP 1.5 year anniversary. Before we even get 2 minutes into this video, I'm going to start by saying right now, this is a must pull banner if you are new to My Hero Ultra Impact, or even if you are a returning player to My Hero Ultra Impact. This banner is very good. Not only does it have increased rates, but it has two of the potentially best characters in the game coming out on it. Those two new characters are Denki Kaminari and Kyoka Jiro, and they are both Fantasy Edition, very good characters. So I'm going to be going over their kits, I'm going to be analyzing their kits and what I think of them, and at the end, the real purpose of this video is to tell you which one you should be trying to pull for, which one is the better you are to get. So let's hop into it. Kaminari's Lightning Blade is his plus ultra move. It deals 700% damage to a single opponent. This skill gains piercing shots. This skill will land a bullseye if character's HP is 60% or higher, and it confuses the character for one turn. Now, confusing the character for one turn is a detriment to himself. That is one bad thing about him, but it's really not that big of a deal when you see all the other crazy stuff he does. His first action skill is called Human Stun Gun. It deals 350% damage to a single opponent, medium chance, 35%, so a little bit less than a medium chance, of paralyzing the opponent for 2 turns. Also increases character's power by 30% for 5 turns. Now, that increase in power is nothing to snuff at. Like, that is a massive increase in power. Let's say you had this Kaminari all the way leveled up. He would have 12,102 power, which is on the higher end of power for UR characters. Increase that by 30%. He now is going to have a massive power spike, and he's going to do a lot more damage. He also has a cooldown time of 4. A cooldown time of 4 on an action skill is absolutely amazing. His second action skill is called Electric Shock Absorption. Increases character's plus ultra gauge by 50% if the character receives an attack within 2 turns, medium chance of paralyzing the opponent for 2 turns. When used in a successfully executed skill chain, restores character's HP by 50% of the damage dealt for 2 turns. So this is a technical hit, and it's a status element, and it's a plus ultra gauge raise all in one, and just the icing on the cake is that it has a cooldown time of 3. This is going to be ideal for VE Tower. This Kaminari's kit, I see him being ran a lot in VE Tower when you're trying to get status elements, when you're trying to get a certain amount of plus ultras within a certain amount of turns and stuff like that. So he is going to be really good. He also has that technical hit, like I said, which is also very good for PvE. As far as PvP goes, this I can visualize as well in PvP for this action skill. If he gets targeted for an attack, the enemy ends up paralyzed, you get an increase in your plus ultra gauge. You also get an increase in your HP, which is very nice. It's like a really good action skill overall. His first auto skill is Increase the Wattage. Increases character's max HP by 50% if there are any female characters on the team. Done. Easy. There is Uraraka Najire, the new Jiro you can run with this Kaminari. There are lots of females who are very good in PvP. You can definitely run a female on the team. Same thing with VE Tower. You can run a female and get that extra max HP boost of 50%, which is going to help him tank better. And the better he tanks, the more hits he's able to take and thereby paralyze enemies, because as he gets attacked, he paralyzes enemies. Also, makes character ecstatic for 2 turns if character receives an attack while not having the ability to paralyze the opponent. So anytime he's not able to paralyze the opponent when he gets attacked, he's making himself ecstatic, meaning his plus ultra gauge is raising faster as well, which is amazing. His last auto skill is called Lightning Rod. If character receives an attack while having the ability to paralyze the opponent, increases character's power by 60%. So not only are you doing the 30% from up here in his first action skill, but if he has the ability to paralyze an opponent, he is going to get an extra 60% power. That is a 90% power boost to the 12,000 power he already has, which is just ridiculous. This guy is going to hit so freaking hard, guys. His plus ultra move skill impact also gets increased by 70%. If you don't know the difference between power and skill impact, Power is his base stats that you see over here. Skill impact is basically how much damage the enemy takes. And so let's say the enemy took 30,000 damage. Well, now that's being multiplied by 70%, which is just absolutely insane. He is going to be an absolute nuke. And then just to top it all off, he has speed increased by 50% whenever he receives an attack while having the ability to paralyze an opponent. That right there is what makes him super viable for PvP. Now, the bad thing about it is he does have to be attacked in order to get this speed buff of 50%, it seems like. So you might not have the highest speed the first turn, which could be a detriment to him. It's hard to say until we really get a look at him in game, but he is looking like a solid PvP and PvE unit. Like, he can be used for both. It's Todoroki, Fantasy Todoroki all over again. He is looking very good. So that is Denki Kaminari. Now, what about Jiro? Heroes Assemble Jiro. Her plus ultra move is called Heartbeat Whip. It deals 650% damage to a single opponent. High chance, 65% of confusing the opponent for 2 turns. That is a pretty good chance. Also shortens characters' action skill cooldown time by 1. Always love when a character can do that. Shortening action skill cooldown time is really good. She doesn't even need it. She has cooldown times of 4 on her action skills, but now she has cooldown times of 3 with her plus ultra, which is just absolutely insane. And that right there is going to make her viable, I would argue, in VE Tower and PvP both. So both of these characters looking very good for both VE Tower and PvP. But which one's going to be better? Well, let's continue through the kit. Her first action skill is called Earphone Jack. Deals 350% damage to a single opponent. Medium chance, 40% of confusing the opponent for 2 turns. Increases skill impact of all allies by 30% for 3 turns. Gives all allies the ability to hide for 2 turns when character is not hiding. Also regenerates HP of all allies by 20% for 3 turns when character is hiding. Wow, there is a lot to that action skill. So let's go through it step by step. Medium chance of confusing, 40% is really pretty decent. I don't know how often that's actually going to hit. I would say every 1 out of 3 times it's going to hit. But the difference between this Fantasy Jiro and the regular Jiro is regular Jiro has the ability to confuse multiple opponents. This Fantasy Jiro is only going to confuse 1 opponent. So that is kind of one downside to her compared to the regular Jiro. But the upsides are she increases skill impact of all allies by 30%, which is really good. So let's say all your allies do 20,000 damage normally. Now all of a sudden they're getting a 30,000 damage boost to that 30% damage boost to that 20,000, and now all of a sudden they're hitting maybe 40,000 damage or 35,000 damage, something like that, from this 30% skill impact increase, which is going to help your team immensely and help you melt down enemies, especially in things like PvP. She also gives all your allies the ability to hide for 2 turns, which means she's going to be tanking for 2 turns when she is not hiding, which is kind of dangerous, but it's okay because she makes up for it with her auto skill, which you'll see later on. She also regenerates the HP of all allies, excluding herself, by 20% for 3 turns when the character is hiding. So when she is hiding, she will be able to regenerate the HP of your allies. This action skill is just, there's so much to it, it's actually insane. Her second action skill is called Stereo Speakers, deals 275% damage to all opponents, gives character the ability to hide for 2 turns, also increases max HP of all allies by 25% for 3 turns. I like that they added that on at the end, because now this makes your allies more tanky while Jiro is hiding. And even though she's increasing the HP of your allies and your allies are taking hits because she's hiding, she's also healing your allies because of her first action skill at the same time. So Jiro, absolutely amazing kit so far. The ability to tank, the ability to heal, and the ability to give your allies extra skill impact is absolutely ridiculous. And then on top of that, just icing on the cake, she has 2 confuses between her action skill and her plus ultra, and she reduces action skill cooldown time to 3. An action skill cooldown time of 3 is going to be amazing whether it's in PvE or PvP. It's going to be really good. And then moving down to her auto skills, her first auto skill is called Not Rockin', prevents all allies from getting a status ailment for 1 turn when battle starts. I could see this in my mind working pretty dang well with Ocean Sun or Araka. I don't know if you'd want to realistically run 2 supports in PvP, but I could see it working. Also increases plus ultra gauge of all allies by 20% every time character hides. So she's also increasing plus ultra gauge of all her allies too. This is a support that does it all, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely insane. Her second auto skill is called Sensitive Note. Cancels 1 status ailment of all allies after character receives 3 attacks. Also increases character's defense by 50% when character is not hiding. So when she comes out of hiding and she lets her allies hide, she increases her own defense by 50%, making it harder to kill her. Now, one thing about this is increasing defense is good by 50% is really good, but I can still see other characters melting her down with the max damage. If they hit that 99,999 damage, it would have been better, I think, if she had like a barrier or something like that, but we'll have to see how it actually works out when we get into the game. So now the big question that you've been waiting till the end of the video for, who is better, Jiro or Kaminari? Who should you be pulling for on this banner? The answer is totally for you to decide. I can't tell you guys exactly what to choose. In my personal opinion, having looked at both their kits and analyzed both their kits and knowing what the current meta is in PvP, PvP is all about speed. The one thing Jiro sorely lacks in her kit is anything having to do with speed. So I think because Kaminari does have that 50% speed boost, he is going to be the better PvP unit than Jiro. When it comes to PvE, I would say they're about even because Jiro has really decent status elements and she has the cooldown times of 3, but she lacks a technical hit. Whereas Kaminari, on the other hand, has cooldown times of 4 and 3, which are still respectable. He has the status elements and he also has a technical hit and plus ultra gauge raise. So it's like they're both about neck and neck when it comes to PvE, but I think Kaminari just has a little bit of an edge in PvP when it comes to the current meta. Now, the meta could drastically shift, like I said, because we don't have this character in game. I don't know for sure. With the introduction of Jiro, Jiro could be thrown on a PvP team, and maybe that 50% defense tankability makes a big difference and speed doesn't matter as much anymore. Can't tell you for sure until she's in game, but right now, personally, I lean towards Kaminari, but I'm kind of a Kaminari simp. I've always liked Kaminari since day one. I have a level 100 Kaminari, so this is just my opinion. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Who is the better character? Who are you going to be summoning for? And if you guys enjoyed the video, please go down there, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and leave me some comments. Peace.